Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Negler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers is dropping cryptic Instagrams overnight and supposedly, rumoredly, going on the Pat McAfee show today. Don't know if that's official yet, but that is the guess from everybody talking about Pat saying he's got a big guest booked for their return to the airwaves today. Most importantly, you fine folks are here to talk Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday on the Cheesehead TV social channels, because that's what we do. We're devoted here at Cheesehead TV to Packers fans worldwide, including everybody already checking in the chat. Thanks so much for showing up, people. Andrew, Josh, Dennis, good to see everybody. Dell, Rodgers, good morning, Internet. Oh my God, what is he trying to say? I mean, I think that Instagram post is a little bit more than a good morning, but I feel you. Ed, good morning. Thanks for the super chat. Hiring Tom Clements to help Jordan Love is brilliant, but until they beat the 49ers last season, I thought Joe Barry was a bad hire. Yeah, I mean, Joe was, thrown into a situation where he was clearly given the same staff and much of the same personnel, uh, instituting a new scheme. It was always going to take a while. I thought they kind of gelled a lot better and quicker than I expected them to. Obviously, they had a bit of a lull towards the end of the season, but for the most part, I thought Joe did a fine job. I'm very excited to see what he can do heading into year two. Now, who knows what the makeup of the roster looks like? A lot of that is going to depend on Aaron Rodgers and obviously what happens with him contractually, what his cap hit is, and how they're able to build around it or not around it. But yeah, I thought Joe did a very, very good job for year one. Obviously, it's all about moving forward and progressing. What's Nags trying to say here? I don't know. You should go to the Cheesehead TV shop and pick out yours, folks. That's what I'm trying to say. Good morning, Aaron from Niagara, Wisconsin. Well, good morning, Aaron Harper. I hope you're well. Justin, see, I love it. Mike Smith would rather lose with his friends than win. Good riddance. Now, he didn't go to Minnesota to lose. He went to work with Mike, yes, who is one of his oldest, bestest friends in the entire league. Man, I understand the good riddance part of it, but Mike's a good coach. You know, it sucks to lose good coaches, and it's understandable that he wants to go work with his guy. No need for amicus there. You know, that's why I always said on Twitter yesterday. I've told you guys 100 times. The league is so much more about relationships than most fans realize. It is what drives most of the decision making in the league, and Mike wants to go work with his friend. And of course, no, he's not going there to lose. Now, obviously, it's the Vikings, so we have to make fun of it. But I got no ill will for Mike making that move, none at all. They're going to have a better chance to win when Zadarius goes there, Andrew. Now, you are not telling lies. I would not be surprised to see that happen. Dennis, it's a business. Exactly. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Will Aaron names Olive's new dog on McAfee today? Probably. No, that name's already picked out. Jeezy Baby, thanks for the super chat. The last picture of Adams and Cobb with Rodgers missing makes me think he will want to get drafted by a USFL team tonight. Aaron Rodgers, USFL legend. That'd be fun. Quinn, thanks for the super chat. So I read yesterday about 4 players and their voided years being waived. So are they officially free agents? It's a bit confusing. Explain it to me like I'm 5. No, they're not free agents yet, but they are set to be when free agency opens. Who was it? I think it's Bill Huber who wrote it pretty well. It's just a financial deadline as far as cap situation, maneuverability, and essentially a payment that the Packers have to make, and that counts against their cap. But they will be free agents. Some of them. Oh, wait. Devondre will definitely be a free agent. Kevin, I think, still has another year on his deal. So not all of them will be. But it's very much an accounting deadline more than anything else. Alex, thanks to Super Chat. I think Aaron Rodgers will not be on McAfee today, sadly. It's every possibility. Like I said, hasn't been confirmed. Jesse, thanks for the Super Chat. Fitting shirt for the day. I thought I'd bust it out. Seems a good time to do so. I mean, remember all the shit that Mark Murphy caught for saying that? for saying that Ted Thompson used to call Aaron a complicated fella. I mean, did he tell a lie? Did the man tell a lie? I don't think so. And I don't think he can find a court that can convict him. So much unnecessary drama. So, Cal, thanks for the super chat. When do you expect the schedule to come out this year? That's a good question. They've done it before the draft, and then they've done it after the draft. I think they've pushed it kind of further because the last few years because of the pandemic. But hopefully, because they had settled into a groove for a while where they did it the week leading up to the draft, which I thought was perfect. Hoping that's the case this year, but they haven't. There hasn't been any announcements yet, obviously. But I'm hoping. So that would be what, late April, last week of April. That would be my guess, but that's all it is a guess. Brian, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. 12 thinks so highly of Love that as a parting gift, he convinced Clements to come back and put the finishing touches on his development. Can't blame the guy. I mean, it ain't show friends, it's show business, right? Hey, Tom's got a gig. It's good. And yes, another young quarterback under his tutelage can never be a bad thing. I'm down with it. TT did not lie, no. Andre, I would unmute the video because everyone else can hear me fine. So maybe there's maybe your video is muted or your computer is muted. What do you think Zimmer does next? I'd really like to see him on the Packers staff as a defensive consultant or something. I'd love that too. I don't think that's going to happen though. If we remember the frosty handshake between Zimmer and Matt in Matt's first year in Minnesota. I think he's a hell of a coach, though, especially, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball. I'd be down for that, but I would suspect that would not be Matt's choice. GBP, man, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Whatever happens, go Pack go, baby. Positive vibes only. There you go. Let's keep a little optimism here. I like it. I like where your head's at. What's up, Cheesehead TV? What's up, Ken Dog? How you doing, man? My favorite Packers right now is Rashan Gary, also from Hancock, Michigan. Also, I hope you've been doing good. I've been doing great, man. Thanks for checking out the channel. And Rashan is a beast. I love Rashan, and I love how much he leans into the Bane Gary thing. I love that. Yeah, he's a real one. And I love that he's become a really, really good player. Just to stick it to all the draft industrial complex nerds who said, oh, it was such a bad pick. He's going to be a bust. And people who said he was a bust. Guess what? Not a bust. Great player. A good player. Really good player. Bordering on great. I'm down with it, man. I am down with it. If Russ can make these numbers work, he is a bad man. Well, we're about to watch him try, Preston. Could you imagine if NFL coaches threw hands during the post-game handshake? That did happen once. Well, not hands really, but there was the incident between, God, who was it? It was Harbaugh, of course. It was Jim Harbaugh, and I think it was in Detroit, but I can't remember who the Detroit coach was at the time. Or no, was it? It was definitely Harbaugh. That I remember, but I remember him running off the field and then coming back on, and some assistants had to separate him from the other coach, but I can't remember who the other coach. Oh, maybe it was Pete Carroll. That was it. It was Pete Carroll. It wasn't Detroit. It was Seahawks. Yeah, Harbaugh and Carroll got into it. What's your deal, man? Google that. Google Jim Harbaugh and what's your deal? And there. Schwartz. Oh, it was Schwartz. I thought it was Carroll. Oh, maybe he had one with both. But yeah, right. You're right. It was Schwartz. That's right. Jim Schwartz. It was Detroit. Okay. That's right. Because Schwartz was the defensive coordinator. Got it. Big Cheese, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Morning, Nags. I'm looking at our wide receiver room, and is it just me, or are Devontae and Lazard the only significant players returning from that group next year? More than likely. I mean, obviously, it depends on your definition of significant, but I think Cobb is a real question mark unless his deal gets reworked. I can't imagine them bringing him back on a $9 million cap hit. I think they'll probably be able to get EQ back. I know that probably doesn't move the needle for a lot of Packers fans, but I think he's developed into a really nice player if he's ever given a legit opportunity to be in the mix. Now, obviously, he's not MVS. He's not as explosive. And if and when I suspect MVS hits the market, he's going to get paid. That's going to be a significant loss. And I think someone said this on Twitter, and I 100% agree, responding to something I put up saying that they don't think most fans understand or realize how much MVS not being in that playoff game affected Rodgers and the offense. And I 100% agree. Don't forget, the first time they played San Francisco, MVS played most of that game until right at the end when he suffered the hamstring injury. But his presence just makes a monster difference. And obviously, it's a guy that Rodgers has complete trust in and has no problems going anywhere with the football. That seam route in the NFC Championship game against the Buccaneers, a perfect example. But his absence, and again, as Matt has said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But MVS playing in that meaningless game in Detroit, where his back got injured. I mean, there you go. The crystallization of why it was ridiculous to play any starter in that game. But that's just me. That is just me. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Nags, will you be drafting an off-season girlfriend? No, I went on a horrible date last night, so no, I'm no nearer to accomplishing anything close to that task. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Are there any cheap vets to bring in at wide receiver? Well, cheap is always relative, right? Let's get through the franchise tag window first before we start talking about who's going to be available, because this always happens. You guys know I talk about it every year. PFF, CBS Sports, ESPN, everybody makes their free agent list, and Davante Adams is the number one wide receiver. And Davante Adams isn't hitting the market. Like 3/4 of those lists never hit the market because they either get re-signed or they get tagged. So let's just get through the window first, and then we'll talk about who's actually going to be available. Accidental Hero, I like EQ. Hey, so do I. Chris, thanks for the super chat, buddy. I must say, for those who do think it, you must not know Aaron Rodgers if you really think that was a retirement post. I expect tricks and that he posted that at that point to get all eyes on Pat's show. Every possibility that that's true. It's every possibility that he's retiring. It's every possibility that he's going to get traded. And it's just the way Aaron likes it. John, thanks for the super chat. If 12 returns A-Rod to A-Rob has a nice ring to it, I'm down with it, John. Been talking about it, pretty much since the start of the offseason. I'd love it if they found a way to get Allen Robinson in the door, but they showed interest before and he chose Chicago. So I think he'd have to take a below market deal, but I would be down with that. Jesse, thanks for the super chat. Is AJ Green washed? I don't know about washed, but he's not what he was. He still provides some value to a team, but he's not the dynamic player he used to be. That's not a knock on him. That's just injuries and father time, But I'd be surprised if the Packers went that route. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. What will we replace Leroy Hall of Fame snub anger with? Sterling Sharpe, Hall of Fame snub anger. Come on, people. He's next in line. I know Holmgren deserves to be in as well, but if it's a player you got to get behind, it's Sterling Sharpe. 100% should be in the Hall without question. I mean, without question. He was a better player than, a lot of the modern guys who've gone in before him, but he was a man among boys. Practically unstoppable. The guy produced, year after year until he got hurt. A man among boys on the field. I think his demeanor, his gruffness, his kind of almost anti-media stance while he was playing has really hurt him in that regard. But yeah, Sterling Sharpe should 1,000,000,000% be in the Hall of Fame and should have been in decades ago. Vince, thanks for the super chat. If the Packers trade Rodgers, would you say Gutekunst got the last laugh? I don't know about that. It's interesting. We're going to hear from Brian finally tomorrow. So maybe we'll get some kind of window into his thinking. I doubt it. I'm sure it'll be a lot of nothing. But, if you judge the relationship between Gutekunst and Rodgers by what Rodgers has been saying all year in regards to their relationship improving and being in a much better place, I don't think he needs to get a last laugh. I think he's looking out, as he always has, for the best, what's best for the franchise long term. That's his job, to look out for it. And perhaps he wasn't as, a good as a communicator as he could have been. And that's probably what Rodgers was upset about. seems to have been kind of smoothed over between the two of them. So I don't think he needs a last laugh. I think he's doing his job. Again, I'm just guessing. I'd love to get Brian on some truth serum, but accidental. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Nags, I heard Charlene Woodley is single. You guys are funny. Jeezy baby, thanks for the super chat. If TD is in, Sterling deserves it. 100%. He just doesn't have the ring. And he played before. I mean, we were really all kind of obsessed with NFL football the way we are now. Vikings fans are soft. I just love that that's a random comment in the in the chat. Vikings fans are soft. Well, of course they are. They play in a dome, for God's sakes. Come on. Jimmy, Packer Hall of Fame bias will work against Sharpe and Holmgren. Sharpe has been gone 28 years now. Is there a limit on eligibility? There is. I can't remember what the exact cutoff is, but yeah, he'll probably end up going in as a old timer, so to speak. But yes, you're right. There is a Packer fatigue in some sectors of the voting block, which is absurd, of course. But Alex, thanks for the super chat. Do you think the tag should be limited by age, like 27? I mean, I don't think the tag should exist, period. I think it's ridiculous. I think the owners have really put one over on the players just in the creation of it. Because remember, they sold it when they made it and they created the franchise tag as, oh, it's such an honor. And we're going to do the top 5 salaries and blah, 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 blah. We all know now in the last decade, it's become maybe not an albatross, but it has become just another way for teams to control guys who are set to hit the market, the best players. And the idea being you want your best player, you want a mechanism to keep your best players on the team that has, I get that. But man, and then every time we have a CBA negotiation, everyone's like, oh, they should get rid of the franchise tag. But the problem is the franchise tag only affects like 10 dudes in a union filled with thousands of players, right? So in the horse trading of a CBA, the franchise tag is like usually the back of most guys' minds because it's never going to apply to them. They're never going to have to worry about it. So it's probably here to stay, which is too bad. But it's ridiculous. Wallace, man, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Rodgers post is the equivalent of I got a lot going on in my life, but don't ask me about posts you see on Facebook, Instagram, etc. I thought my friend Samantha put it really well this morning on Twitter. Aaron's just in his feelings. I get it, man. We've all been there, right? Totally get it. Since when is U.S. Bank a dome? It's got a roof, for God's sakes, and glass that the birds hit and die on. Come on, you know what I mean. Good Lord, are we out here being pedantic? It is Tuesday, people. I ain't got time for pedantic. It's indoors. I've been there. Have you been there? There's no breeze. It ain't outside, y'all. When it's cold, it is closed. That's a dome. Y'all crazy. Corey Banky on McAfee's show today. Book it. I'm down with that. I wish the NFL would have an NBA bird rights for teams to keep their own free agents. Yeah, I get it. Again, it's just mechanisms for control. That's all it is. Afternoon from Botswana. Good morning from New York City. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking in. I've been to U.S. Bank for Metallica. There you go. There you go. It's good to know it's being used for something worthwhile. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day. Yes, whatever happens later today, if Rodgers says something, if we get some kind of indication of what the fuck is going on with the QB, I will be back for some extra cheese here on the YouTube channel. So please hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack, go.